Hello everyone, welcome back to Factorio. This is Ryan from Tangerine Music Labs. We're going to be continuing our little tutorial series on circle belt factories today. So today's episode is going to be a little bit more conceptual, more than anything, but I think it's important to know some of these things if you're going to attempt the circle belt factory like the one you see here. It's kind of the mentality you have when building a circle belt factory is very different from the one you might have in building a standard factory. So what I mean by standard factory is, I have a little demo thing set up here. So what happens most of the time is that you kind of you have a resource line here, and you get an input, and then you output it here. And then you use this output to build other products, like circuits, for example. Now, what happens in most games is that you'll be like, okay, well, I want more circuits, but this thing is a little slow, so why don't we speed that up? And then you do. And then you get more circuits here, and like, well, this thing isn't building fast enough. Why don't we speed that up? Why don't we speed this up? And in the end, you basically get, everything that you need, but just a little bit faster. And then you use that speed to build other things, and with the other things, you build other things, and then eventually build a rocket, and then you beat the game. Now, that works because you don't really have to worry about how fast this thing is going. This thing could be a fast inserter, or it could be one of these huge stack inserters. Coil. And it won't matter because there's a hard limit to how much you can place down here, and it will stop automatically when the belt gets saturated. Now, a saturated belt is usually considered a good thing in most factories because it means that you're making most of your throughput and the resources. But in a circle belt factory, which I'll show now, that's not always the case. So let's clear the thing for now. So here, you can think of it as a mini circle belt factory. Maybe I'll even make a little building in the middle. Oh. Research. I don't know, pipes, something. But now we're producing these coils, one per tick. So I'm a musician, so I like to think of it as like a rhythm. It's like a beat. Here is the fundamental beat of copper coil beats. And then here is, the beat at which this thing picks it up. Now if we double time it with the fast inserter, then this is going to be producing it twice as fast as this thing is picking it up. So we're going to get some excess. Now in a standard game, this normally will not be a problem, but as you can see, you can probably tell that the coil is quickly starting to overwhelm the belt. And the problem with the saturated belt is that when, let's say, actually it's kind of saturated on our main belt already. Right, so it's having issues placing things down here because all the other crap is getting in the way. So it's not good. And it's especially not good if it clogs it up completely. So yeah, so the problem with this setup is that this is going to overwhelm the belt eventually, just because there's a difference in inputs and outputs. So one way to solve the problem is just to do that. You know, equalize it again. Or we can also use a buffer, like I've shown in previous examples. So now this is picking up the coils as quickly as this thing is placing it down, but this is also using it. So the net effect is that we're going to lose one coil per tick, and you can already see that it's, you know, starting to free up. So this is what makes the buffer useful. Kind of, you know, it helps keep the line clean here, without removing everything completely. So basically we're balancing the input and output together through, you know, kind of a long-winded way, because in this thing it goes all the way around the factory before the effects can be shown. So that's another thing about circle belt factories, is that the decisions that you make, the changes that you do, takes time for the effects to show. So it's very easy to get distracted by you know, like right now it's like, oh no, there's too much coil, but maybe if you wait for it to go around a few times, it might fix itself. You're never sure, and so the answers aren't really obvious a lot of the times, and that's what makes it challenging, I'd say. So, squad 44 is no more. Oh. So eventually this is going to pretty much stop, and you know, this thing will keep on picking things up, but we're going to get less and less coil over time. And this is actually, now we have the opposite problem, which is we might not have enough coil. You know, say we have another factory here. Let's see, do I have a factory? Nope, I'll just steal this. So if we have another factory here making circuits, then it might not get what it needs. So how we can equalize this is actually do this. So now we have a stable flow of coil because we equalize the inputs and outputs. So here is, you know, this is, you could say, double time, so +2. This is -2. And this is +1, and this is -1 because it's using it. So now the coils will be pretty much equalized, and you'll probably start to see a pattern emerge because you know, we're kind of placing it down and picking it up at the same kind of way. So this is basically how you equalize resources on a circuit belt. And I have, these are more elaborate versions, but I have similar things going on here. I actually have circuit networks connected to the input itself, so I can control how much it's making in relation to the buffer. And yeah, this is covered somewhere else, but so I won't go too much into it. But so basically, it's this factory is the same thing as this mini thing I made here, except that we have a lot more stuff going on. And you're going to run into issues, no doubt. You know, it's really hard to keep track of everything. And then sometimes, you know, things just get stuck. Like this tries to put down steel, but it can't for a few seconds, and that's going to throw it off by a little bit. But that's the basic idea, and you know what you want to do is you're not going necessarily for maximum throughput all the time, but it's all about balance, and balance is key for making a circle boat factory work. So yeah, I think that's about it, and hope you found it interesting. I'm going to continue a few more videos about how to make circle boat factories. There's a couple more things I want to cover, but I'll save that for next time. Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.